Well, hello everybody. It's been about a week since I've broadcast anything on the channel. Um, there's a reason for that. I've been kind of busy with work, trying to get everything ready before Christmas holiday break. So now I want to get back into it. I have been watching some old videos of Tenacious Earl and his TBL League in Stratomatic. So I thought about trying to do something similar to that without, pirating his idea totally. But I do like his setup of the 10 teams, random. But I want to do something with the set that just came out, 2018. So the only set that's out right now is Payoff Pitch. So what I decided to do, and we'll see how this works, is I want to make what's called a Pop 10, which stands for Payoff Pitch Top 10, or Payoff Pitch 10 Teams, much in the spirit of Tenacious League of 10 teams. So I was going to kind of cheat and pick out my 10 teams ahead of time, but I decided it'd be more fun to do a random sample. So what I did is I've got all the stadium cards for each of the teams in Payoff Pitch, and I'll be shuffling those up and drafting 10 teams. And I'm going to try to use Payoff Pitch's injury rating, and I might either do my own rest period, or I may borrow Stratomatic's and do a D6 roll and use Stratomatic's rest rating. So let's turn the camera around off of me because nobody wants to see me. So I'll go ahead and get this flipped around. Hopefully. Will it do it for me? There we go. Okay, so there we are, Payoff Pitch. And again, my little, as Al Red Sox fan would say, my bad puns, the Pop 10, much like the ESPN Top 10, this is the Pop 10, Payoff Pitch Top 10 teams. And I've got my sheet set up here to mark them 1 through 10. Hello Larry, how are you doing? Happy holidays, Merry Christmas to you and all of yours. So let me get this out here. And like I said, I've got all the Payoff Pitch stadium cards, all 30 teams. So all I'm going to do is just start drafting them, randomly. First one I pull is team 1, second is team 2, and so forth. And what I'm going to do is do a 54 game schedule, just like Tenacious did. Like I said, I really like his setup. 25-man roster. There's a whole lot of extra players that I can use for injuries and usage and things like that. So we're going to see how that goes. Let's see if I can lower this now so you can see the actual cards. There they are. So I've got them kind of just all over the place. Don't know what's going to be what. I'm hoping that we get a mix of AL and NL and a mix of good teams and bad teams, just to see how they do. So I've never done one quite like this. I was watching Tenacious Earl to see how he set things up and how he organized things. So I'm going to try to pattern this sort of like after that. I don't have anything to put this in. I probably will put it in iScore, or either keep the stats manually, which I really don't want to do. So I'll probably go with iScore. That's what I'm thinking. So without further ado, I'll go ahead and give this one more little shuffle here, and then we'll pick out the first team. And like I said, all 30 of the teams' stadium cards are here. All right, so here goes nothing, as they say. So I'm going to come in. I'm going to dig down deep here if I can. Pull out this first team, and the first team revealed. I pulled out the card. Who is that? Minnesota. I'm not sure why I pulled out the Botham Stadium card. So I'm going to pass that up because I think I have Minnesota in there twice. So I don't know how that one got in there. That's a snafu. Let's go back. I want to make sure I have a real card in here. I may have actually pulled both of them, because what Payoff Pitch does is when you play games in alternate stadiums, they'll put both stadium cards in there, so I may not have picked that correctly. So let's go back and try this again. Hopefully get a real stadium card this time. So team 1, Safeco Field, the Seattle Mariners. So come over here to Team 1, and we'll write in Seattle. They're going to be Team 1. All right, let's go for Team 2. And what I'm going to do, I noticed when Earl did his TBL and TBL 2.0, the first year he had all DH. Second year he had all pitchers hitting. I'm going to try to pattern this just much like the major leagues do, and only have the pitchers hitting when it's 2 NL teams and when the NL team is the home team, much like they do in Major League Baseball. Otherwise, we'll have DH. All right, so Team 2. The Colorado Rockies. So 2 Western type teams here. One from the NL West and one from the AL West. Of course, I'm in Virginia, so I'm more familiar with the Eastern teams. But hey, that's how you learn about these teams, is by playing them, right? So we got one each, one American, one national. Let's see what Team 3 is. And Team 3, the Chicago White Sox. All right, so one definite bad team. Colorado and Seattle were close to being playoff teams. Chicago does not resemble that remark. So they will be in there and see how they can compete. Let's see who Team 4 is going to be. Team 4. Hey, Mr. Combat Painter, how you doing? I enjoy watching your Jacob deGrom replay. I started mine and I really wanted to get more teams involved, so that's why I kind of fainted on that deGrom replay. And then when I saw you doing it, I was like, I'll just let you take over, and I'll move on to try this little project here. All right, so Team 4. Oh, this could be a challenge. The Miami Marlins, and we know what kind of team the Miami Marlins had. So, boy, it's getting from bad to worse. This should be interesting, trying to work the Marlins and their low budget. So we'll see how this goes. Like I said, it's going to be interesting. All right. So, team number 5. The Tampa Bay Rays. Now this one's going to be interesting because I'm not sure how to handle this stuff with the opener and everything. So I'll have to figure that one out. If I'm going to follow that pattern or just, forget all that and just start my own with the regular starter. We'll figure out how that's going to work. That'll be an extra challenge. It's always good to have some challenges. All right, so now we're up to Team 6. We're halfway through. Now let's see who we get now. I'm trying to dig underneath here a little bit if I can, without bending the cards too much. Hey, David Little, how are you? Merry Christmas to everybody if I haven't said it already or you haven't heard me say it. Team 6, the San Diego Padres. Boy, I'm going to have a loser league here, aren't I? All right, so we got Miami and San Diego and the White Sox. That's 3 not so good teams. The other 3 are pretty good teams. So could be a long tournament, or not tournament, but a long mini season for some of these teams. Be a challenge to work them, though. That's something that Tenacious Earl talked about in his league, is that you get some of these not so great teams and they can be a little bit more of a challenge and actually be more fun in a weird kind of way. All right, Team 7. It is the Atlanta Braves. Turner Field, Atlanta Braves. So Atlanta Braves will be team number 7. And right now, as I look at this, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 national and 3. No, check that. 1, 2, yeah, 4 national and 3 American. So, and I better put White Sox by the Chicago, so don't get confused. All right, so we've played 7, or not played 7, we've picked 7. Let's go to pick 8. And see if we can pick somebody that's not so bad. I've picked some bad teams here, but that's just the randomness of it all. Team 8, the Philadelphia Phillies. All right, so we got the Braves and the Phillies from the East, along with the Marlins. Hope I don't pick the Nationals and Mets. I really don't want to have the whole NL East in here, but we'll see how this goes. We're down to 2 teams remaining to go. Let's see who is going to be team number 9. I'll go to the bottom here. Team 9, the Boston Red Sox, the world champions. I really didn't want the world champions in here, but I'm going with the randomness and see what happens. Hey, Tribe fan, how you doing? So, 10th one, this is it right here. Number 10. Better make it a good one. Right now I've got, unofficially 5 National League and 4 American League, so I'm kind of hoping this is an American League team to even things out at 5 and 5, but if it's 6 and 4, it's no big deal. All right, big and deep. There we go. This is the 10th and final team. It is the Cincinnati Reds, so we ended up with 6 National League and 4 American League. So this is going to be primarily a non-DH league. Primarily a non-DH league. There's the final 10. And you can see the other teams that could have made it but didn't. So there you go. All right, so the only time we're going to have a DH is when Boston, Tampa, or the White Sox are at home, or Seattle. So there's 6 and 4 there. So when the 4 American League teams are at home or playing each other, then we'll have DH. If it's interleague or the American League teams are at the National League, it will be a pitcher hitting kind of game. So let me run through and pick them in reverse order here as to what I picked. So just to recap, Team 10, Cincinnati Reds. Team 9, the Boston Red Sox. Team 8, Citizens Bank Park, Philadelphia Phillies. Team 7, Atlanta Braves. Of course, they realized, and they're going to fix it next year, they realized that was a snafu, not changing the name to SunTrust Park. But the park factors, he assured me, are for SunTrust Park. Team 6, the San Diego Padres. Team 5, the Tampa Bay Rays. Team 4, the Miami Marlins. Team 3, the Chicago White Sox. Team 2, the Colorado Rockies. And the first team selected was the Seattle Mariners. And there will be a slight challenge when I have to play them without a DH because of Nelson Cruz, who primarily DH'd. And I think he's a very bad fielder in the outfield, but we'll figure out something with that. Yeah, it was an interesting trade they made to get. I didn't realize they got Wood. They get Alex Wood from the Dodgers as well. I knew they got Puig and Kemp. I didn't know they got Wood. So could be interesting there to see. They also have they made that trade with the Nationals to get Tanner Roark. So that could be interesting as well. All right, so I want to put all these cards back on their respective teams. And also what I'm going to do is take these teams here that are here and devise a 25-man roster out of all the cards. And as I'm looking at these, the original 10 that I picked out, there are 3 that made the cut in the randomness. And that's that is, if I can pull them out separately, these 3 teams here. I had picked Atlanta, Philadelphia, and Seattle to play, and the other teams I'd picked out did not make the, didn't get drafted in my draft league. So, but we're gonna go and go with it, and that's part of the fun. Is just like, I'll be honest with you, a lot of the San Diego guys, I'm not familiar with a whole lot of San Diego guys, so I'll have to learn about them. Not too familiar with too many of the Reds. I know some of them, obviously Joey Votto and some others. The Marlins, I've got to learn them. I mean, there's a lot of new guys, so going to be interesting to see how this goes. I've got a schedule template that I got offline for a 10-team, 54-game schedule. I'm going to use that. Like I said, I'm going to try to use some of the advice I got from Tenacious Earl. Not just direct advice, but just advice from his videos about how to organize things and do a schedule, give off days, keep stats, and things like that. So I'm going to follow. I've been watching, like I said, watching some of his old videos, even from his Tenacious channel before he merged with the other Earl, and see how he did that and see what I can do with that. So that's that on the, what I call the, like I said, it's a bad pun, the Pop 10. I was trying to think of something with 10 in it to make a name. And I figured Payoff Pitch, the abbreviation is a pop. And of course, Pop 10, ESPN Top 10. So my weird mind went in that direction. So there it is. I've got to make a schedule. I've got to get, what I'll probably do is I have to input my 25-man rosters into iScore. So that'll take some time as well. And then I'll probably do that tomorrow because I'm off tomorrow. And I may get a game. I may start the first game tomorrow night. I haven't decided yet. What I'm going to probably do to get this thing played in as quick a fashion as possible is maybe play a game of the week kind of deal. And what I would want to do, so you can see all 10 teams, is play the first 5 games online for the opening day for all 5 games, and then after that maybe switch it to, a game of the week kind of thing. Yeah, you're right, Dave. The Big Ten, it went to the Big 12 or 12 teams, and it went to 14 teams. Soon you're going to have like 3 conferences, and that's going to be it. So, and it's also, you think it's strange the way they have things aligned as well. It's like, okay, how is it that, Notre Dame is playing in the ACC in basketball when they're obviously out there in Indiana? And then you got Maryland in the Big 10, Big 12, whatever it's called, Big 10, I guess. And they're on the East Coast. And, some of the geographical things are kind of strange on that. But money talks and everything else walks, and that's what they go by. So, I'm not sure what else to do from here. I really wanted to do this in Strat with the 2018 set when it came up, but that's not going to come out till at least February. And I really wanted to do something between now and the start of the Major League season. And so, like I said, I wanted to do it differently than what Tenacious Earl was doing. I didn't want to just flat out copy him. I do want to take the good things that he brought to that and the good ideas and kind of implement them in my own way with Payoff Pitch. So I decided to go that route instead of trying to do a Stratomatic thing, or thought about doing Inside Pitch, but I don't really have a whole lot of seasons for that, so at least not anything modern. So I figured with this one, the 2018, it's fresh in my mind. The players are fresh in my mind. I've got deep benches, minor leagues to go to for injuries and stuff like that. Plus, I wanted to see how Payoff Pitch, I know they do injuries, but how often does it come up? And I wanted to test that and see about rest. I know there's something in the manual about resting players, but I may use I may go back to the old Stratomatic and use the rolling the 1d6 to do resting and things like that. Another thing I was going to try to, in the past I've been trying to play season replays, but with one team, but I really get, not bored, but I get, after you get the same team over and over, it kind of gets redundant. So by doing it this way, I get a mix of teams. And like I said, a lot of these teams I would not have chosen on my own, but hey, they're there. So what I got to do is figure out what the schedule is, see who's going to play who, and who's going to be the home team, because that can determine who, if I use a DH or not. So looks like a lot of these times I'm going to be using the pitch hitting cards quite a bit. So, but I don't want to be unfair to the American League teams and make them not have a DH when they would normally in real baseball. So I want to do that. So hopefully this will be something fun. I'm looking forward to at least getting into it. The first part, and the one thing I did learn from Tenacious Earl, is before you start actually playing the games, get everything in line. Get your schedule lined up. Get the way you're going to keep stats lined up, so that when you actually start to roll a game, you can hit the ground running. So that's what I want to do. I don't want to rush it, and then kind of be trying to spin my wheels trying to catch up with stats and everything like that. Like I said, I've got the iScore program, so I will probably just go ahead and use that in lieu of not having any other computer options to use. So I will use that. I don't want to do scores by hand because that's going to be too tedious to keep track of stats and all that good stuff. So that's it from here. What I'll still probably do for video purposes is still play some other games, but my main focus on my off-camera time is going to be doing this league to see how it goes. Still going to be doing the I still need to get back into some more inside pitch and try to finish off, or at least get back on track with the Mark Fidrich replay. I do want to do that. Like I said, the Grom replay, I kind of let that go in lieu of this to do this. And I don't really have anything else going other than that and the Fidrich replay. So I should be able to focus really primarily on this. And I was going to do this on Stratomatic with an older season like 1987. But I really wanted to get something, that's fresh in my mind. Combat Painter, I did see where you certainly did do well, and DeGrom seemed like he dominated that replay. Of course, his card was loaded. So that doesn't totally surprise me. The lack of offense by the Mets was evident for me as well. I know at least one of the games I played, it went to the video ran so long that I 0-0 and that nobody scored in like 13 innings. So I can see why he got a lack of wins. But certainly I thought he was deserving of the Cy Young. I know some people wanted Max Scherzer to win it because he had 300 strikeouts and so forth. But I think if you just take the standalone body of work, that Jacob deGrom was a clear-cut Cy Young winner. So that's going to do it from here. I need to go ahead and get to work and start putting these things in iScore. Well, first thing I got to do is figure out who my 25-man roster is going to be for each team. Now I can tell you who it is for the teams I did pick. Let's go, because the teams I did pick out ahead of time were the Braves. One of them, anyway, was the Braves. So I can show you who I have for that. And I'm trying to make every team have 13 position players and 12 pitchers just by default. So let's look at the Braves and how they're going to play it out for their little season here. Starting pitchers: Julio Teheran, Brandon McCarthy, Anibal Sanchez, Mike Foltynewicz, and Sean Newcomb. Those are the 5 starters. In the bullpen, you got Peter Moylan, Arodys Vizcaíno, Shane Carl, Dan Winkler, Sam Freeman, AJ Minter, Jesse Biddle, and Luke Jackson. Those are the 12 pitchers that will be on the team. Position players: Ronald Acuna, Tyler Flowers, Ozzie Albies, Ender Inciarte, Preston Tucker, Ryan Flaherty, Charlie Culberson, Kurt Suzuki, Dansby Swanson, Nick Markakis, Freddie Freeman, Johan Camargo, and those are your 25-man rosters for the Atlanta Braves. So let me go pull the Atlanta Braves card. There we go. So, and then we've got all these guys in the minors / whatever on the Braves that will be used when and if there are injuries involved or there is a need to just replace somebody due to bad performance, perhaps. So the Atlanta Braves, they are set. Another team that I had already pre-planned to play before I decided to go with the random factor is the Philadelphia Phillies. So let's look at who they had. Their pitching staff. Again, this one. I think on this one I have a 13-man pitching staff. So you got Nola, Arrieta, Pivetta. That's Pivetta's hitting card. It got stuck down there. Vince Velasquez and Zach Eflin. Those are the 5 starters. Your bullpen is Pat Neshek, Victor Arano, Sir Anthony Dominguez, Tommy Hunter, Hector Neris, Luis Garcia, and Edubre Ramos, and Adam Morgan, a lefty. So those are the pitchers, 13 of them. Position players should be 12. Adubo Herrera, Cesar Hernandez, Carlos Santana, Ryan Hoskins, Maikel Franco, Andrew Knapp, Scott Kingery, Nick Williams, Jorge Alfaro, J.P. Crawford, Pedro Florman, and Aaron Altair. So those are the Phillies, and of course, when need be, I've got a plethora of bench players, both pitchers and position players, for them. So I've got to do that for all the other teams as well. And the third team I did it for that I picked ahead of time was Seattle. So let's go to Seattle real quick and then I'll wrap this up. But at least I have 3 of the 25-man rosters set up, just based on what my previous had done. All right, so let's go to Seattle's pitchers. Starting rotation: Felix Hernandez, Wade LeBlanc, Mike Leake, James Paxton, and let's see, did I have somebody else? I had another guy here somewhere. What did I do with him? I must have got stuck together. Oh, Marco Gonzalez. He was stuck in there behind somebody else. Okay. Edwin Diaz, Juan Nicasio, Nick Vincent, Chase Bradford, Alex Colomé, Ronis Elias, James Pezos. And that's it. So those are the starters, or the pitchers for Seattle. Position players: D. Gordon, Ben Gamble, Mike Zunino, Guillermo Herrera, Ryan Healy, Mitch Haniger, Kyle Seager, Nelson Cruz, Robinson Cano, Gene Segura, Chris Herman, Dan Vogelbach, and Andrew Romine. Now the interesting part is going to be Nelson Cruz. Actually, he's not rated too badly in Payoff Pitch. Very generous C rating with a 4 error rating, so very, very generous there. I'm not so sure how accurate that is, to be honest with you, because he's not very good. I know Strat doesn't rate him very well at all. So maybe it won't be so bad having him play in the field, at least in the Payoff Pitch version. And like all the other teams, all these players here are available in the minors. So 3 of the 7, or 3 of the 10 rather, have been 25-man rosters all set up for me. And I guess, did I do something with the Phillies? Trying to figure out where their other ballpark card is. Oh well, it's in here somewhere. May have buried it somewhere, who knows. Anyway, there it is, Citizens Bank, that's what I was looking for. Okay, so there you go. What does Payoff Pitch do with pitchers hitting? Payoff Pitch, they have, much like Stratomatic, they have pitcher hitting cards based on averages of the pitchers. So pitcher hitting card 1 and 2, and it goes all the way up through pitcher hitting card number 16. So the really good pitchers will have pitcher hitting card 16. Some of the pitchers in the PDF extras have their own pitcher hitting cards. Like I believe there was somebody from Philly, I think they had their own hitting card. So I thought they did. Maybe it was somebody from Atlanta. One of these teams had their own pitcher hitting card. So let me see if I can find that. Of course, now when I'm trying to look for it, I can't find it. I should be able to find it, shouldn't I? Let's see if I can find somebody that's got their own pitcher hitting card. I would have thought it would have been Nola. Yeah, it was Nola, I think. No, it wasn't. Marietta? No. Pavetta, that's who it was. All right, so, for instance, Pavetta is using batting card number 3, but when I went to the PDF for the extra players, he has his own pitcher hitting card that was made up because he had 40 at-bats. Why he got it a card, I don't know, but it was there. a lot of the extra players, or the PDF extra players, had the pitcher hitting cards. So I may use this. I may just use the pitcher hitting card that came with the game. Haven't decided yet, but it does do that. And so they do have that option. Now, as far as rest and everything like that, I was looking at their rules. If I can go back to find those rules. And their injuries seem to only, that I can think of, only occur on the rare play chart. If somebody else knows a place where there's injuries in this game, let me know. But the only one I know that where their injuries occur is on the rare play chart. Like here, line drive, single hits, pitcher check for injury. A lot of these injuries and ejections happen there. There's a pitcher rest chart here. I haven't really looked too much at that, so I don't know, what all that's about. I might just use my own judgment for that, or like I said, use the Stratomatic version of that as well. Michael Lorenzen was used as a pinch hitter. Wonder what his, I don't have his card in front of me to know what his, I'm going to pull Cincinnati to see. Now it's hard to locate the teams because they don't have the stadium card with them. That's what I usually go by to find them. So now I got to look at the small print and try to find Cincinnati. Cincinnati's got to be in here somewhere. Pittsburgh, Houston. My eyes aren't that good to read these small things. Let's see here. Where did I do with Cincinnati? They got to be in here somewhere. Chicago, Detroit, Oakland. Maybe they're under something. No. Boy, if it was a snake, it'd have bit me probably by now. Interesting. Oh, wait a minute. Cincinnati was one of the teams that I had. My bad. I did have Cincinnati. I had 4 teams. I was cheating myself. No wonder I couldn't find it. I had these guys already. So I'm looking for Michael Lorenzen. Is that who you said it was? Lorenzen. Is he even on here? Michael Lorenzen. I don't see Michael Lorenzen. Maybe he's on my minor leagues. Let's try to find him. There he is, Michael Lorenzen. Actually, I should probably put him in the majors, or have him in the majors, huh? Because he does have his own card. Actually, in the PDF, he did have his own card. He hit 290 on the season, 31 at bats. So if you went by his card, he'd be hitting off batting card number 14. But he does have his own card. And now that I think about it, he must have got stuck under something else, because he really should be on the opening day roster rather than some of the other pitchers that maybe are a little bit less innings. So I'm going to have to add him in and take somebody else off. Thank you, Mr. Dave Little, for pointing that out to me. I will certainly get him involved and put him in there. Of course, playing against Cincinnati, I'm sure, is going to be somewhat of a challenge. But base running chart has injuries, or is it the infield in? Okay, well, I'll have to check it out. Like I said, I know with Strat, I know where the injuries are in Strat. I don't know where the injuries are on Payoff Pitch, but I'm hoping there's enough there to make me have to use the bench a little bit. I don't want to go overboard with it, but I at least like to have some that make me make moves. So now I can't find where's my Cincinnati card? Just had it. Now I can't find it. Oh, it's under here. That's why I couldn't find it. All right, Cincinnati, where are you? There you are, Great American Ballpark. Okay, so that makes one less I got to do, because I didn't realize I had chosen Cincinnati ahead of time as well. And let's see if I have. Let me put this back up here. All right, so we know Atlanta, Cincinnati, Philadelphia, and Seattle. I've got those 4 25-man rosters all set up, although I do have to add in Lorenzen and take somebody else out from the Reds. Still got these teams to figure out. And actually I was scribbling, just scribbling down what I was going to choose. And my original teams that I was going to choose on my own was going to be 5 American, 5 National. Philadelphia, the Cubs, San Francisco, Atlanta, and Cincinnati. So I got 3 of the 5 here. And then I was going to use Cleveland, Texas, New York, Seattle, and Kansas City. And I got Seattle here. So 4 out of the 10 from my random draw showed up in the teams that I was going to pick anyway. So I guess 40% is not too bad. If you're a hitter, that's a 400 hitter. That's pretty good. So hope everybody's ready for Christmas, and hope you don't need to do any more last minute shopping. I've heard yesterday was Panic Saturday, so hopefully you all can have gotten everything already taken care of and have gotten it to under the tree or whatnot, and hopefully maybe someone that is buying for you will get you something, either a Stratomatic card set, a Payoff Pitch card set, Inside Pitch card set, APA card set, History Maker Game card set, Status Pro, whatever your choice of game happens to be. Inside Pitch, they're all really good. I enjoy all of them with different things. But we're going to see about Payoff Pitch and see how this goes. Hopefully it'll go well. Like I said, 4 of my 10 are down. My next step is to get the other 6 teams to get their 25-man rosters set. Then my next step is to put all 25-man rosters into iScore on my tablet. And then once I get that done, then I've got to go back to my little spreadsheet and put in the schedule based on teams 1 through 10. Actually, what I'll probably do, well, no, I don't think I'm going to do that. I don't think I'm going to separate them American and National. I think I'm just going to keep them 1 through 10 and let the schedule fall where it may. And I'm not sure how Tenacious Earl did his when he got to his playoffs, but I'm thinking the best thing to do is take the top 4 teams and have 1 play 4 and 2 play 3. But that's hopefully I'll get that far. You're talking a long way. It's probably to play 270 games. You're talking a lot of time. So, it could be sometime in the summer before I get all this done. But I'm not in any rush. It's going to, I don't want to feel like I'm under a time crunch or anything like that. I'm going to kind of go at my own pace. But I do want to make sure that I am set up as far as being organized with my stats and controlling injuries and how I'm going to do player rest and things like that. So we'll see how it goes. This is my first attempt at doing something like that. I hope Tenacious Earl is not offended at me for, kind of borrowing his idea, so to speak, and maybe doing it a different way with Payoff Pitch and maybe a little bit different rules. But basically, I really enjoyed his concept of the TBL that he had, and so I guess you could say the greatest form of flattery is imitation. So, while I don't think this is totally imitating it, I'm definitely borrowing from it and using it, and using his expertise as far as stat compilation, and he seems like a very organized person to begin with, and he seemed that way, very detailed on his replays. So I kind of want to mimic that and not feel like I'm under pressure to do anything, but to be fun. I want it to be accurate. I want it to be where everything's organized, so I'm not scrambling trying to find a score sheet, trying to play 10 games and then have to scramble and put 10 games into iScore. I want to have iScore in front of me as I'm playing the game and score it right when I'm playing the game rather than on paper. I just put it right there on iScore. I'm going to have to make a cheat sheet for all these. Probably do is make a cheat sheet for the defensive ratings and run ratings for all the players, so I don't have to write that down every single time. I'll probably do something like that on some sort of Excel spreadsheet or a Word program just to have that. So I did it with Strat as well. when I was playing a few of those games. I found it easier that way rather than having to write on the score sheet every single time, because playing these games, at least 5 minutes for me anyways, filling out the score sheet and filling out all the ratings. So hopefully by doing that, I won't have to do that, but we shall see. But anyway, it's getting late. It's 11 o'clock, a little after 11 here on the East Coast. And I realize most people do have off tomorrow. At least I hope you have off tomorrow to celebrate the Christmas weekend. Just at 32 on paper, and it's hard. I'm sure it is, Mr. Combat Painter. I'm sure it is. I wouldn't want to do that manually. That would drive me nuts, I think. And you were just doing one team, but imagine trying to do 270 games doing that. And the 270, of course, comes from 10 teams. They play each other 9 times, or you play 9 other teams 6 times, 3 at home, 3 on the road. That's 54 games. So iScore is, to me, is the way to go. Ideally, if the strat, how do you get qualities on iScore? Don't really need qualities on iScore. All I do is it's a score sheet thing to just type in the results of the game. So I'm not sure what you mean by qualities. I'm just going to put in the results of the play, be it single, out, whatever. So I'm going to have a separate sheet with all the ratings and everything on paper in front of me, so I won't need it on the score sheet to fill it out on the score sheet myself. I'm going to have, like I said, I'm going to have a little grid that has each team on it. Let me see if I have a sample of something I was doing for Strat. See if I had it with me at one point. Now I don't remember what I did with it. Oh, here it is. Here it is. Okay, this is kind of what I'm talking about. This is kind of what I made for Strat. When I was thinking about doing something for Strat, is I would take and put in the Strat defensive ratings for the players I was going to be using at the time, and that way when I go to play the game, I don't have to put all these on the score sheet. I can just have them handy right here in front of me. And as far as scheduling goes, this is one I was going to do for Stratomatic League, but I never actually did it. It has Team 1, 2, 3, blah, blah, blah. So I can just change, and Team 1 will now be Seattle. So I can put Seattle right here. And according to this, let's see who Seattle would play first. They are showing they're going to be on the road because home games are down and road games are sideways. So right here, so they would be playing Team 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They're going to be playing Team 6 at Team 6. So I can see right away that Game 1 is going to be Seattle at San Diego based on this schedule template that I have. So Seattle is going to be at San Diego. So right away, I'm going to make a decision about Mr. Nelson Cruz. But like I said, Payoff Pitch kind of gave him a very generous rating, at least in my opinion. I don't think he's rated that well in Strat. I think he's a 5 in Strat. In Payoff Pitch, he was a C and a 4, which is actually pretty darn good, all things considered. So that's what I've got to do. Not got to do, that's what I want to do, because I want to get this right, and I want to get it accurate, and I want to be set and ready to go before I roll the first pitch. So my next step, like I said, is to do the 25-man rosters, get my schedule straightened out, and put that into iScore, put the teams in iScore, then put the schedule into iScore, figure out where I want to do off days. I don't really know if there's a template for off days. I may just do a 3-game series and then have a day off or something. If anybody's got ideas about that, you can leave those in the comments. I would appreciate it. My thought right now is to do a 3-game series, have an off day, then maybe play 2 3-game series, have another off day, and things like that. But we'll kind of play that by ear and see how it goes. 52 games, 5-man rotation. That means the fifth star is not always going to get to start. With off days, you can switch that around. So the top guys, top starters, should get roughly 12 starts. So we'll see how that goes. The neat thing I think Earl picked out with the 10 teams is there are 32 teams in baseball, so 10 is roughly 1/3 of that. And 54 games is 1/3 of the season, so everything's kind of got that 1/3 mentality. in the stats and everything. So should be fun. We shall see. I was going to do just the 8 because that's kind of been my shtick, has been doing the 8 thing. But 8 to me doesn't give me enough teams to keep variety. So I thought the 10, like I said, I'll give all kudos to Earl. I think the 10 is a great number to use, and great starting point. It's not so many that you can't play them, but it's enough to really feel like you're with an in-depth league. And I mean, if I wanted to, I guess I could put them in 2 divisions, but I think it's better just leave them at all 10 and do the top 4 in the playoffs. So, you know, you have 1 play 4 and 2 play 3, and that'd be the end of it. So, all right, guys, I certainly appreciate everybody's time. And again, hopefully you all are having a wonderful Christmas weekend. If you're traveling, please be safe traveling. Spend time with family and friends. Holidays are a great time to do that and catch up with people you maybe haven't caught up with for a while. And please be safe out there if you do choose to partake of certain beverages. And be safe on the road. We want everybody back for 2019. I think 2019 will be an interesting year. I'm looking forward to seeing what some of you guys that have channels like Combat Painter and the Earls and Stratomac Delaware and Anthony from Bleacher Bum, and I'm sure I'm probably missing some people, ID Jester and Al Red Sox fan. All kinds of people have channels out there that are wonderful to watch. Looking forward to see what everybody's doing, what kind of new projects might be coming. I may not comment on people's videos, but I always watch them, at least part of them. Might not get to watch the whole thing, but at least try to watch most of them. When I have time, I like to listen to those in the car while I'm driving or while I'm at work. So I may not watch them, but I certainly listen to them. And I certainly do appreciate everybody's, tuning in tonight. And hopefully I will have an update once I get all these in here. I'll certainly do an update video. It might not be live, but I'll certainly do an update video to set the league up and show everything that's going on and get the schedule out there. And hopefully I would love to be able to play a game tomorrow. I would love to be able to play the first game tomorrow, which would be Seattle and San Diego, I assume, because that's 1 and 6. Team 1, their first game is Team 6. So Seattle at San Diego would be an interesting mix. So I've got to figure out what to do with Nelson Cruz on that. So I've rambled long enough. I'm probably boring people to tears. Like I said, support the other channels out there. Subscribe to them. Like their videos. Want to keep the community going. Want to get new people in the community. We'd love to, or at least I would love to get some younger people in there. Some people in there, maybe in their college years. Doubt you get any teenagers in there, but I would love to get people 30 and under in there to get going with this, to keep it going, because we're not going to be around forever, and want to keep the hobby going, whether it's Payoff Pitch, Stratomatic, APA, Inside Pitch, History Maker Baseball, Replay Baseball, you name it. I'm strictly a baseball guy, so I don't deal with the other football and hockey games and things like that. So I'm baseball 24/7, 365. So sometimes it's hard to figure out what to do as far as putting content on this channel. So that's what made me think of doing something like this. Hopefully, like I said, it will be interesting. And my long range hope on this is to play like a game of the week and then give updates of how the season's going along. If there's any major injuries in the game, to report on those, so you can see how the Payoff Pitch engine does for injuries, and see if there's any really like stats that seem to be out of line. Hopefully there won't be, as I think Payoff Pitch is a very accurate game when it comes to that, but we shall see. So that's it from here. Hope everybody has a Merry Christmas and a wonderful New Year season. Look forward to 2019. Look forward to watching all you guys that actually have channels out there. And if you're thinking about starting a channel, please do. It's a lot of fun. It's a great community to chit chat with and whatnot. And if you need any help, sure, there's lots of us out there that would be willing to give you advice and suggestions, maybe ideas, and anything like that. Hey Jerry, how you doing? Good to see you as usual. Yeah, like I said, it's a great community out there. A lot of helpful people, and no matter what game you choose to play, there's somebody out there that is an expert at it that can certainly give you the right direction and which way to go, maybe some ideas and things like that. Dave, you have a Merry Christmas as well. So I hope I mentioned everybody that came in the room. I hope I did. The ones that made comments anyway. I can't see the people that don't make comments. So for everybody out there, have a wonderful Christmas. And until next time, when I come back in my next video, I will show the schedule and hopefully play a first game between Seattle and San Diego at Petco Park. Until next time, hey Randy, how you doing? Happy rolling to you as well. Oh, I'm sorry, Ryan, not Randy. I misread that. My eyes aren't that great. Maybe I'm getting a little tired. Who knows? But until next time, you guys, take care. Keep them rolling. Be safe. Merry Christmas. And until next time, I will see you all down the road.